Hi there, it's MicheleAnn of Moon of Fortune. Today I've got all the swords, the suit of swords out, because I just find that with the suit of swords, that's the kind of it's the make or break for me how the swords are represented. So I just wanted to put a few of my decks together with just the sword cards and just have a little look. So we've got the Sheridan Douglas here, the Ace of Swords, which is just pretty self-explanatory. And this is the Gran Tarot Esoterico, which puts the swords as being water, which is interesting. And then of course you've got the Thoth. This is the Nigel Jackson. Try not to let the light bounce off it too much, sorry about that. The Fountain Tarot, which is lovely. Just the way the sword's just coming down, just piercing straight down through all the buildings and just like, bang, there's your moment. That's your moment. And this is the Spiritsong Tarot, which I really like because it's, you know, it's based on animals, and there's, you know, it doesn't actually sort of like have swords sticking out of any animals for the Three of Swords or the Ten of Swords, which is really important to me. You know, I don't like, if I'm using an animal deck, I don't want to see animals looking like they're injured in it. That's just me. And this is feathers in this deck. If you of course use swords as air, you've got the little symbol for air down there. So mental clarity, it says there. And this is the Star Tarot. And again, just a very lovely depiction there. If I can try and, there we go. If I hold it here, then the light's not bouncing off it, is it? That one. This is Poppy Palin's Everyday Enchantment deck. And that's, I know I don't like animals being hurt, but this one is actually being, you know, sort of like rescued. It's kind of like they're figuring out exactly what's going on. It's like the aha, that's what it is, that's what's causing the problem. So it looks a little bit disturbing when you first look at it, I suppose, but you know, you've got like the little elemental creature there who's comforting the dog, and he's all very well looked after. So there's that one. And of course, you know, the Rider Waite. Everybody knows the Rider Waite. I mean, I think, you know, probably most of the decks of cards out now are based on the Rider Waite. And there's this is the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Cannon-Reid and Martin Cannon. Ellen's not with us anymore. This is quite an old deck. So that's all the aces. Let's just grab these out of the way and go through the twos. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just thought, you know, why not? Just interesting, I think. So here's the Two of Swords and all the different decks. And you've got this here. These two both kind of use the element of water. Turn around that way. That's it. So you've got the element of water there. And you can see with the swords, there's one is plunged in the water and there's one that's up out in the air. So you've got that sort of polarity, you've got that duality thing going on. And then we've got the Thoth and the Nigel Jackson. Very different there. This one's kind of like more sort of like, you know, really getting to the heart of the matter, and this one's a bit more strategic, I think. Let's put those there. As we go. That's a very powerful card, isn't it? This one from the Fountain Tarot. That is really quite amazing. Out on her own, just literally thinking about everything, desperately like trying to get some kind of clarity solution. And then the Spiritsong, 2 of feathers, decisions, direction. I'll stop that light bouncing. There we go. And poppy Palin on the left, and the star tarot on the right. And you can see on the left here, it's kind of like that like, oh, I can't take any more. I've just got to step away from it all. That's it. I'm done. And this card here, I think this card from the Star Tarot from Cathy McClelland is, I think she said it's the only card that you can actually read upside down in her deck. She doesn't do reversals in her deck, but this is the only one that you can actually read a reversal of, which is quite fascinating. And the Rider Waite and the Witches. I love that kind of movement here, which is just kind of, you know, ready to attack, just ready to go, ready to spring forward and just deal with whatever it is. This one's a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more trying to use intuition rather than brute force. And there's the 2 threes from the Sheridan Douglas on the left and the Gran Esoterico on the right. Again, it's very watery with this one on the right. I won't hold for too long because you can always pause the video if you want to have a deeper look. And you've got the Thoth on the left and the Nigel Jackson on the right. And I like the Nigel Jackson, you know, the fact that you've got the heart in between the 2 people and there's like this huge gap in between them, and for one to catch the other one up, there's going to have to be some sort of you know, a leap of faith, or there's going to have to be, you know, something's going to happen in order for this to be repaired. Fountain Tarot on the left and Spiritsong on the right. And we've got release and recovery for the 3 of Swords in this one here. So you've got the butterfly, the transformation, everything that's been going on. Just trying to actually, you know, work your way out of it. Just think your way out of how to cope with this situation. And then on the left, it's kind of Rider Waite, I suppose, isn't it, with the heart that's pierced. But it's kind of like, almost it's like a bubble. So it doesn't look like it's going to last for too long. You know, it can be popped. Poppy Palin on the left, 3 of Blades, and Star Tarot on the right, which again on the right is a bit more what you would expect really from a 3 of Swords. Poppy Palin, I mean, she just does such a good job of creating a very modern, up-to-date, you know, you can actually relate to everything on here, can't you? You know, you've got the Singer sewing machine, and she's holding the pin cushion, which is the heart, and there's 3 pins sticking out of it, so you still got that Rider Waite thing there. And she's got the portrait in the back, and so, you know, there's like memories in the background. The cat staring out the window, looking at the magpie. The magpie is kind of like 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, you know, so there's something going on. Something going on there. And of course the Rider Waite. And the Witch's Tarot on the left. Four of Swords. Sheridan Douglas on the left. And the Gran Tarot Esoterico on the right. Again, you've got that watery aspect there, and you've got all the crescent moons up above. Oops. Thoth. Showing Libra in this one. And this is, sorry if I hold it right, there you go, that's the Four of Swords, that's in the Nigel Jackson. So it kind of like, you know, the Rider Waite has a, you know, the tomb. He's actually lying down on the tomb, whereas these other ones just kind of like go a little bit more, just give you a little bit more, don't they, really? And the Thoth is just, it's incredible. With the astrological signs as well, of course, with Jupiter and Libra, you've got that sort of expansion and the justice thing going on. So the Four of Swords is is really like, you know, just relax, just sit down, get everything in balance, and then you'll be able to, you know, sort of expand and move forward. Four of Swords, the Fountain on the left and the Spiritsong on the right. Poppy's Everyday Enchantment on the left and Star Tarot on the right. I love how these two have, you know, got the animals there, you know, you've got that connection with the earth, connecting with nature, connecting with everything that's going on around you, because that is a really good way of changing your, you know, your mental state. Get out there, get in touch with nature, get that balance back. And then the Witch's Tarot, you've actually got someone, it's almost like, you know, the Four of Swords on the floor is like a puzzle, and they've got to move them around to try and, you know, sort out which way is going to work best. All dealing with the mind, you know, the square, the box being, you know, sort of like feeling like you're just trapped, like you're caged and you can't get out. Sometimes the box makes you feel secure, but sometimes it can really make you feel quite claustrophobic, so that's nice. Five of Swords. And I love the eye, the all-seeing eye right at the very top there. So you've got all the water, you've got all the emotions and everything that's going on down below, and you've got the five, which is coming to sort of like, you know, like change things. It's going to actually, you know, chuck things up in the air, but all the while you've got that all-seeing eye. So keep your eye on, you know, what's actually important, what's actually going on up above. Don't get too dragged down. And this one on the left, the Sheridan Douglas, again, you can see it's very black, it's very dark, and it's just like sharp things and eyes all coming at you from all over the place. And the five from the Thoth and the Nigel Jackson. So you've got Venus and Aquarius in this one here. So you've got that kind of that chopping and changing kind of like feeling, that maybe the vanity, that sort of thing, you know, creeping in, and the changeability of Aquarius. And then on the right you've got Nigel Jackson's Five of Swords, and he's literally holding the broken sword, and someone's just, you know, nicking off in the background. So has the fight been worth it? Fountain on the left, Spiritsong on the right. Spiritsong says strategy and resilience. You've got an armadillo there. Very tough outer shell. And the Five of Swords on the left from the fountain. It's like he's using the two swords that he's standing on like stilts, and he's carrying the other three, and it's pretty tricky, and there's people in the background, and you can't really quite figure out exactly what he's doing, whether he's, you know, coming to you, whether the people in the background are coming to you. So what's going on in that sort of that triangle there? Let's get these two, and then this one, of course, I think this always reminds me, it's the Star Tarot, but it's very kind of like Thothy, I think, you know. And then you've got the Five of Blades and the Poppy Palin Everyday Enchantment. And you've actually got a scene, you can actually see, you know, you've got all the knives around you in the kitchen, it's pretty stressful and everything, and, you know, the chef's in the middle of chopping something up and wants it done their way, and the two people in the background are like, no, they want it done their way, and there's arguments and everything going on. So I think the way Poppy just, you know, puts that is just, it's amazing. If you're new to tarot and you just need to, you know, get some ideas, this everyday enchantment deck is invaluable, I think. And then on the right from the Star Tarot, again, it's very, very kind of Thothy, but you don't have the astrological elements there. And on the left, the Witch's Tarot, and on the right, the Rider Waite. I'm just going to whiz through a bit quicker rather than stand talking about it. But then again, you see, I really do like that on the left, Sheridan Douglas. You know, I love the fact that he's wading through the water to get to the two swords that are on the other side. He's left the four on the shore behind him, and he needs to get these. You know, he really wants to go out and get these. And whether he's going to stick with these on this side of the shore, or whether he's going to take them back to the other side, it's who knows. And then of course, you know, you've got the as above so below with the watery aspect, and you've got the crustacean there, you know, the crab, which also features in the moon, so there's stuff going on there. And there we go, Six of Swords, Thoth on the left, and Nigel Jackson on the right. Science, I think, is the word for this one. So, and you've got Mercury in Aquarius, so you've got that, you know, that up in the airness of Aquarius, but then you've got the communication as well to do with Mercury. Fountain on the left, and Spiritsong on the right. Transition, insight. And you know what, I really love this Fountain Tarot card. I mean, it's just that sort of launching off of a jetty. You can almost feel that, can't you? Just that sort of movement of gliding off and just, you know, sailing off into the distance there. You know, I love that perspective. And of course you've got the dragonfly with the Spiritsong. Everyday Enchantment on the left, Star Tarot on the right. And so here you can see that they've actually put everything down, and they're just going to go off. They're just going to have a little bit of fun. They're going to go off skating over the ice. It's a bit dodgy, but they, you know, they're going to have a go. They're just going to make something happen. And this here with the Star Tarot again, you've got the two killer whales there, and what looks like an Eskimo wrapped into a canoe type vessel, and you've got the calm sea, and you've got that sun, and you've got all the swords in the background, and it's almost the spirit of the killer whale just flying over the top there. So it's movement, but it's a kind of conscious and subconscious, you know, kind of decision as well. So beautiful. I think these are just my favourite decks, you know. Well, I have lots. I have too many. And the Six of Swords and the Witches, you know, you've got the pelican there that's you know, stabbing its own breast in order to feed its young, and then up here you've got that kind of phoenix kind of energy. So you've got the sort of like the self-sacrifice, and then you've got the, you know, emerging into something else. I'll stop waving the cards around. And you've got the Rider Waite Smith. Right, I'm going to go quicker. I'm really going to go quicker. I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to hold them up. But look at the dark figure in the background there. They're having a horn of mead or ale or something, and someone's sneaking off. And with these, you know, the Spanish and also the Oud Picard decks, it's to do with the shapes. You know, all the sevens will have the, you know, the square in the base and the triangle in the bottom, and it's all about the shapes and what's going on above and below. And let's get those right there. So in the Thoth you've got the Moon and Aquarius, and in Nigel Jackson you have the Fox, the cunning, the sly, the crafty, the strategic, the clever. And then in Spiritsong it says preparation and resourcefulness. So it kind of ties in with the fox from the last one. And then this one here from the Fountain Tarot. Just got grabbing hold of things. Do you need all of them? Do you need some of them? You know, you've got to decide whether you've got to take everything or whether you just take what you need rather than take everything. Poppies, Everyday Enchantment on the left, and the Seven of Swords from the Star Tarot on the right. So this obviously on the left is very, very, very modern. Someone's, you know, breaking in and they're stealing something, and it's, you know, the kid with the ball is going to get the blame because, you know, the person looking out the window is going to see someone holding a ball and automatically assume that they're the ones that broke the window, but it's the other guy that's kind of like running off. So it's kind of a bit of skullduggery going on there. And the same, you know, with this one here, I love the fact that you've got the water again for the swords, and you've got the, you know, the swords all in the water with the lilies, and you've got the reflection of the deer. So everything is going on underneath in the subconscious, and then above here, you know, you've got the strength of the trees, and you've got the moon. So you've got the the kind of connection between the two halves of your mind. You know. What is going on in the subconscious and what is actually going on. So stay alert. Seven of Swords from the Witch's Tarot, and this is kind of, I always, you know, it's kind of like see this as, you know, all the swords are on the ground, they're all there, but there's a little bit of, you know, like the Pied Piper or something going on, you know, they're sort of playing music and go, ooh, come with me, you know, come sit down, chill out over here and forget about things for a while. Meanwhile, what's happening, keep your eye on that stack of swords. And then of course you've got the Rider-Waite Smith with the classic image of someone running off with the swords while everyone's busy in their tents or off in the distance. Eight of Swords. It's kind of pretty sort of similar, really, isn't it, to the Rider-Waite? Although you get that, you know, the colour scheme with the Sheridan Douglas is really in your face, you know, it's really kind of, you can't ignore the black and you can't ignore the blue, you know, the black of the complete sort of like, you know, darkness and not knowing what's going on around you, and then you've got the blue of the swords, and she's all in blue as well, so you've got that kind of like, you know, communicate, you know, there's got to be some kind of communication, you've got to like talk your way out of this one, you've got to think your way out of this one. And okay, so I've gone a bit out of sync here, but never mind. Thoth on the right and Gran Tarot Esoterico on the left. Nigel Jackson on the left, Fountain on the right. That's quite dramatic, isn't it, on the right, you know, she's literally, it's like someone is actually holding the swords to her throat and just kind of like, you know, cutting off or about to cut off the communication, you know, just that sort of feeling of not being able to say what it is that you want to say. Spiritsong on the left, Star Tarot on the right. And the Spiritsong, 8 feathers, says courage and solutions. So it's how you got to think your way. And again, this looks very Thothy to me, I think, the way, you know, the shapes and the swords. Reminds me of Thoth, but you got the eagle, you know, that kind of like feeling of like moving on, moving forward, just, you know, sort of like get out there, get up, go, just, you know, do something. Don't be, you know, don't be held back, just make it work. Kick yourself into action, you know. And you got the Witch's Tower on the left and Poppy Palin's Everyday Enchantment on the right. I really love that image on the left there, you know, with all they're all just ready to go, poised, just waiting. And then on the right, you've just got that feeling. I think we've all felt that. We all know how it feels, whether we're, you know, a mother, father, or you know, whatever. You know that feeling when everything is just kicking off all around you, and you just think, oh God, I just got to get out of here. I just can't do this anymore. You know, it's that kind of feeling where, you know, you just got to. You need some kind of solution, don't you? You just need someone to come in and say, right, okay, let's deal with this now. And the 9. Love that Nigel Jackson, just that image, you know, it's just so, you know, nightmares. You shut your eyes and maybe it won't actually come true, but it's there. And so, and you've got the, you know, the card of cruelty there. You've got Mars and Gemini on that one. Nine of Swords. Just got his knees pulled up to him, up to his chest. He's just sat there and the swords are kind of like creeping towards. It's sort of spooky, a bit scary, isn't it? You know that feeling. And the 9 there. And this Spiritsong, perspective and self-empowerment. And I think that's a porcupine, I don't know. It kind of looks like it. Poppy Palin, the 9. And the Star Tower on the right. Again, it's very Rider-Waite. The Star Tower is kind of like a mixture, I think, you know, of like Thoth, Rider-Waite, and sort of Marseille. So it's kind of a little bit of everything. Poppy's one is very. She doesn't get the credit she deserves, you know, for the work and everything that she does. You know, she really does deserve a lot more credit and respect. And the Witch's Tarot, 9 of Swords. Just going to whiz up to the 10s. I don't think I'll do the court cards because I don't really, I don't know, maybe I will if you want me to, maybe. So we've got the 10 there. I mean, I don't know if this is water in the background of the Rider-Waite or if it's land. I can't really tell, but you know, you kind of got that watery kind of like aspect going on there. The 10, the Sun and Gemini, and you've got the sort of archaeological ruins and everything, which I think is nice. You know, it's nice you haven't got someone just being stabbed in the back. Which, you know, I think that's why I don't really like the Rider-Waite so much. You know, the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Swords really do make or break a deck for me. So 10 of Swords, actually, it doesn't, well, they are swords, but there's something about them that kind of makes me think of like a pipe organ or something, I don't know. And then the Spiritsong says recovery and transformation. So you've got the snake, so, you know, the symbology of the snake is all to do with, you know, being able to go down into the underworld and then come back up again, shed the skin and, you know, become brand new. So I like to think that's what the 10 of Swords is all about. And Poppy's one there. You know, it's kind of like everything's just coming after you. Even the cat's having a go, you know. You've torn your jeans, you know, and you've got like this toxic symbol on your shirt, and you know, you've got the CCTV camera, you've got the owl. It's kind of like watching everything that you do. There's a real kind of feeling of just like, you know, wanting to just escape and get away and just be left alone. And then with the Star Tower on the right, you know, it's it does remind me of this kind of it's like a Christ-like almost symbol, isn't it? You know, like some, you know, being nailed to a cross, being nailed to, you know, whatever it is that you've done or whatever. You sort of like, you're going to be accountable for it now. So you really have to kind of like seriously think about what you're going to do, how you're going to transmute this situation, because you know, it might be of your own making, it might be of other people's, but you're in the situation nonetheless. So you know, you really got to try and figure out your route. And the 10 there for the witches. All right, let's do the pages. Let's get these ones all together. And I really do love the checkerboard, because I just think that really does show you know, like strategy, you know, like deep thought. You know, it's not something that's it's quite engrossing. You can get so engrossed into your strategy that maybe it kind of, you know, sort of takes over a bit, which we see with Poppy's card, you know, just showing someone who's absolutely, you know, totally engrossed in what they're doing. But in this aspect, in this respect, sorry, it's actually put to a good use. You know, it can be something that can, you go on into your future. You're sort of like developing that kind of that pattern of how you do things. And this is Star Tarot. Right, where are we? We're on the pages, aren't we? Page. Okay. A lot of movement in the Thoth one. Kind of, sort of, you know, stationary but ready to go on the other two. You know, it's kind of more thought, whereas this is kind of like a bit of action. And we've got these two here. Page of Feathers is exploration and discovery, and the Prince of Swords. In the Witch's deck, it's kind of like seasonal. You know, you'll have like, you know, all the suits will have the same background. So this is all kind of like a summary. You know, the sword is all very summary, and then, you know, you sort of for the princes, and then the princesses have a different season, and then the queens have another season, and then the kings have another one. So it's all kind of like follows suit throughout the court cards. Yep. I know. Just go on, don't I? Knight of Swords. Let's get on there. So you got that movement, the aggression, the passion. You know, the kind of getting carried away. Let's try and get a few more. Let's do a few together. Very nice. And we got the knights here. Spiritsong says action and focus. And as you can see, there is, you know, there's definite action going on, especially in this one. This one is kind of like so much action going on. No one really wants to hear it. But you just keep talking. You're so, you know, so focused on what you're thinking about. You're not actually thinking about perhaps how it's affecting anybody else. That's great. So what are we doing now? We're on the Queens. Are you still watching? You still there? I haven't bored you to tears yet. Queen of Swords. Nearly done. There we go. Oh, and of course this deck has Swords as Fire, just to, you know, because that one is based more on the, you know, kind of like Wiccan and Masonic and that kind of thing, as opposed to the Rider-Waite Smith, which kind of was more Golden Dawn. So it's, the suits were changed. I forgot to mention that. The elements were changed, sorry. But it doesn't really matter, you know, you can assign whatever element you want to whatever card when you're doing a reading. It's, you know, it's totally up to you. So there's the Queens. And let's get the Kings together there. Oh, I've missed out those ones, sorry. Right, so let's get these. There we are, there's the Kings. Spiritsong says logic and justice. The Thoth is very, very active. Really going after that that indecision. Really going after it. Of course, the King of Swords in the middle there from Nigel Jackson is you know, fire. So, but look at that lion. Look at that. It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I've got into a bit of a muddle, haven't I? I haven't got my court cards in the right order. So there you've got the King of Blades there, and King of Swords from the Star Tarot. That light will stop bouncing all over the place. And I missed the Queen from the Thoth deck. Love that image. That's just like, that's just pure power. That's just kind of like, you know, taking matters in your own hand and just getting it done, because no one else is going to do it for you. You've got to do it yourself. And that's the Prince of Swords, which should have been, I've got everything all muddled. Anyway, there you go. Kings. That's your Kings. Kings are wintry in the Witches deck, and of course you got the Rider-Waite Smith. There we go. So that's all the decks. And the only reason I did this is because, like I say, you know, the Swords suit is the one that can make or break a deck for me. You know, if I don't like the swords and I don't think I can work with it, it's just, it completely, you know, it just shuts me down. And the deck just either gets sold on or just sits on the shelf for a while until I get round to selling it on. Yeah, so 3 of Swords and 10 of Swords is always, you know, that's the 2 cards that I always look at most, just to see, you know, what I think. Right, I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee now, so thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. My website is www.moonoffortune.com, and you can go on there and book a reading with me if you would like. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and comment below if you would like to see anything else. Thank you. Bye bye now.